I thought I was going to die. But what I didn't realize is that it's on stilts that go down like probably 50, 60 feet off this cliff. And there's the biggest storm California ever had. Just had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for about a week. My grandma used to collect little glass animals.
Ah.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Joe, your drummer,
Yeah.
was involved in an accident while he was cycling in Dublin.
It was really scary. I remember getting a phone call.
You know, when I listen to Heat Waves, and I have heard it so many times, thousands and thousands of times.
Sorry.
I love it.
Well, I actually tried to sell the song to someone else. Played it for Rihanna's manager.
Well, I'm on the fringes of Lollapalooza India, the 3rd edition. And it's such an honor and privilege to talk to Dave Bayley from Glass Animals. My name is Hrishi K. Everybody who's watching, listening, it's a terrific band, and we can't wait for their debut India performance. Dave, wonderful to meet you. How are you?
So nice to meet you. Yeah, great. Just excited. So good to be here.
I'm very intrigued. Normally, people migrate from the UK to the US. You reverse migrated at a very early age.
Oh, backwards.
Very early, you reverse migrated, as in you're an Englishman, but you lived in the US for a while and then back to England. And this was round about age 13, wasn't it, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
My question to you is, do you think those transatlantic experiences early on made you a better singer-songwriter?
I don't know about better. Maybe it made me, I don't know. It could have gone either way. But America has a very specific, well, it had quite a specific sound when I moved there. I was there when I was like, basically until I was 13. When I was 13 in America, it was all like Missy Elliott and Eminem, and that's what was on the radio. It's like everything made by Timbaland and Dr. Dre and Pharrell. So I think I kind of absorbed that subconsciously.
That's nice. You know, so much has been written about this cabin in Los Angeles, California you wrote your album in.
Oh, yeah.
Was it really almost leaning off a cliff, looking into a valley? And did you really survive on eggs and jam for days and weeks?
Yeah, it was scary. It was so scary. I couldn't, but basically I rented it someone sent me a photo of it, and I looked at the photo and I was like, this looks like a really nice little place, very contained and out of the way. But what I didn't realize is that it's on stilts that go down like probably 50, 60 feet off this cliff. It's literally like mountains like this, and the house was here, and just stilts like this, and the whole thing kind of shaped like this. And there's the biggest storm California ever had. It was like the biggest storm in 100 years or something, they said. And it was raining and thundering, and the wind was really strong, and this house was like this. And I got sick, so I couldn't leave the house. I was like stuck inside. I just had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for about a week. I thought I was going to die.
But isolation leads to some great music.
It really does, yeah. And I was forced to like spend time. I mean, I didn't have anything else to do, but you're also kind of forced to spend time with your thoughts. I was forced to only talk to myself for a week.
How did you and the other boys first meet? Was it in Oxfordshire in the UK? And if so, what, do you do high school together, middle school together? I wonder.
Yeah, high school. I basically moved to England when I was 13, and the first person I was introduced to was Drew, our guitarist, because he was also American, or had spent time in America.
So lots to talk about.
Yeah, they just lumped us together, and they're like, you guys will get on. You're both American. Go be friends. And we were friends. And then the other two guys were we were the music nerds at school. Yeah.
The name Glass Animals, Dave, it's a peculiar name. I just wonder, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, my grandma used to collect little glass animals.
Ah.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
It's lovely.
So growing up, I was always like, she had a little cabinet full of them, and I used to like just.
Wow!
I was never allowed to touch
dogs and cats and bears all in glass, huh?
Everything, horses, horses, yeah, everything. And I think I was maybe angry that I couldn't touch them. I wasn't allowed. It's my revenge.
2018 must have been a particularly stressful year for you and the band. I believe Joe, your drummer, was involved in an accident while he was cycling in Dublin. What really happened, Dave? And it must have shocked the wits out of you, but at the same time, were you determined that, he must recover, you must help him recover and get back as the same combination?
Yeah, it was really scary. I remember getting a phone call. I just landed from a flight, and as soon as I got home, I got a phone call from his dad. I think it was like 6 in the morning. So I was like, oh, this is a very strange time for Joe's dad to call me. Something must be wrong. And I heard the like fear in his voice, and flew straight to Dublin to be in the hospital. And I didn't really realise quite how bad it was. Like I got there, and it didn't look good. I used to study before I did music. I did medicine. I was going to be a doctor, and I wanted to be a like brain doctor, spinal surgeon, or something like that. So as soon as I saw him, I knew it was potentially like end of life situation. And I had to kind of try and comfort his parents at the same time, who were obviously panicking, having the same thoughts. But there was a genius surgeon.
Wow.
Amazing surgeon in Ireland who did this really complicated, like 14-hour surgery. And this is quite graphic. If it's too graphic, you can cut it out. His skull had been pressed into the brain, and he managed to pop it back out and fix it. Had they waited any longer to do the surgery, it would have been the end. But then, as soon as that surgery happened and I knew it went well, I was like, wow, there's a chance here. And Joe is the most stubborn person I know. And if anyone was going to be stubborn enough to return to complete, like, normal physical status, it was him.
Wonderful. You know, even the Beatles and the Stones, when they first conquered America, they made such a big deal about it. How much did it mean to a band from the UK to have a number one song in the US Billboard Hot 100? When Heat Waves went on top of the American charts in 2022, did you surprise yourself? And how did you guys celebrate?
I was so surprised. So surprised. I absolutely couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was possible. And I mean, I came from a household and a background where music was never like a career. It was a hobby. And my mum was always like, you have to go to university, you have to do this, you have to study. And
sounds like an Indian family.
Oh really? Yeah. She was like that, and I had to lie to her when I started doing music. I told her I was still at university doing medicine, but I wasn't. I was doing music, and I think it meant a lot to me on that level as well, because I could finally had something I could show to my mum, be like, it's a real job, this is real. And I think since that moment,
she must be so proud.
She's become like the biggest fan. It's amazing.
And you remember how you celebrated, you guys? Yeah.
I do. I actually have a photo of it. So I have, and it came up in my memories. I can show you. I don't know if it's suitable for the camera, because we found out we were on the tour bus. We were in Oregon in America.
In America, yeah.
And we just woke up in the tour bus, and none of us were dressed
appropriately.
But I'll show you. You know what? I'll have to show you later, because I'm looking at it now. And it's
it's not appropriate.
Everyone's just like screaming in the bus, running around in their underpants. That's what's happening. Yeah.
What fun! Life itself, the music video, I just love it. Whose idea was that? Yours, the music directors, and my subset of a question is, how involved do you get in these music videos, Dave?
It depends on the video, and it depends on how much time we have and what we're doing around the time. Life itself, our whole album had a really strong visual, like, I tend to have like a visual concept before making the album. I know what I want it to look like, I know what I want the songs to be about, I know what I want videos to be like, and that one I had a particular idea for the character and what he looked like and what he was like as a person, the character from the video. And then we handed it over to the person who did the photographs, Neil Krug, to do the videos as well. And he kind of developed the character further and put a storyline behind it.
And this is actually, the song actually is a story of a kidnapping, is it?
What, Life Itself?
Life Itself.
It's kind of, it's about someone who's stuck in their, who still lives with their, it's kind of slightly true.
Autobiography.
Someone who still lives with their mom, even though they're way too old to be living with their mom. Maybe they're like, I was living with my mom till quite recently.
That's lovely. Like all
Yeah.
Italian and Indian men live with their mums.
Yeah, it's a good
Till
thing.
very late.
It's a good thing.
Always a good thing. Keeping a lot of your material open source, inviting fans to download and keep it. What prompted that? I mean, the thought process. I mean, because most bands are very protective about their copyright and giving it away. And
Yeah, music is the biggest compliment and the coolest thing about music is when it inspires something else.
wow,
And I think art and any type of art, be it music, painting, drawing, graphic design, dancing, anything, it's all like, I don't know, you're all kind of sharing ideas and taking ideas, and it's hard to know where to start sometimes. So that was my idea of just putting everything out there in case it helps someone start something. That's the hardest part, is knowing where to begin and what to write about, or like finding the inspirational sound, a word or something like that. So I put all the words, sounds, chords, everything up there in case it helps someone.
Zaba sounds. The album sounds. It reminds me of a South American Amazonian rainforest, especially the percussion.
Yes, perfect.
What does Zaba mean? And speak to me about the theme of the album.
Zaba is, when I grew up, I used to read a book every night called The Zaba Jabba Jungle. So you are like on the money, nailed it. And it is a story about a little kid finding his way. He goes on a trip with his parents but gets lost in the jungle, and he has to go find his parents in the jungle. He has to find this like security in the jungle. And I think we felt like that when we were starting out. We were dropped in the music industry. We didn't know anyone in the music industry. We were just sheepishly finding our way through and finding our footing. And so that it felt like a suitable concept for an album.
I love Gooey from Zaba and the lyric peanut butter vibes.
Oh yeah.
What were you thinking?
I think it's just like comforting. When I was a kid, I used to get a spoon and eat peanut butter like that on the spoon. It was like my snack. It reminded me of being young and being at home and being comfortable, and that's the sentiment I was trying to get across in the song.
I'm going to come to album number 2, How to Be a Human Being. Vastly different album cover design. I mean, Zaba was very graphic animation, and this one just had human beings.
Yeah.
Was it a different designer who designed the cover for both, or was it more or less the same guy?
Different artists. I mean, I kind of had the concept and the idea. Each song on the second album was a character.
Yeah.
We did the first album, and as I said, it was very abstract. We're kind of working out how to exist and live in the music industry. And then we went on tour, and we met a lot of people, and were just thrust into the real world all of a sudden, meeting new people every day, playing shows every single day. And it's an album about that. It's about those people, and I wanted to put them on the cover.
Nice.
Yeah, so we got a photographer, and it felt more real life. The second album felt like real experience, so a photograph was suitable.
I love Youth, and Youth is used as a soundtrack in FIFA 17, the video game. And you come from the UK, where football is so huge, it's as big as cricket in India. And what were your feelings when the song got picked up and became part of FIFA?
I couldn't believe it, because I used to play with my brother, and my brother played a lot more than me. I used to sleep in at the weekend, and I would wake up to the sounds of my brother playing. I could hear FIFA in the background, and all the songs on those soundtracks was like I listened to them all weekend because my brother was playing and I was playing. So to be part of it was amazing. It felt like, I don't know, it felt like a dream.
You probably get asked this a lot, Dave. Who's Agnes?
Oh, well, I mean, that's actually really interesting. Agnes is like one of my best friends growing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How sweet.
Yeah. And it's from India.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Where's she now? Are you in touch? Yeah.
Agnes, they passed away.
Oh,
sadly.
jeez.
Yeah. But it's a funny kind of synchronicity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Life comes full circle. Yeah. Dreamland, the song from Dreamland, the album is so nostalgic. Did you go through that life in flashback when you were writing Dreamland?
Yeah, that was the point of that album, was to just be as nostalgic as possible. Feeling very nostalgic at the time. It was around the time of, you mentioned Joe's accident.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not the band would continue, and spending a lot of time in the hospital hoping he'd be okay. And I think you kind of comfort yourself with nostalgia when you're not able to go out and do new things and live life, and you are just kind of stuck inside a bland, bleak hospital. You tend to go relive memories, and that's where that album came from.
The collab with Denzel Curry on Tokyo Drifting from the Dreamland album. Terrific song. I love it.
Thanks.
I love the video of a concert, a lovely venue where people are sitting up like this, and Denzel comes on, you introduce him, and it's just a great live performance. So talk to me about that collab and Tokyo Drifting, the song. Yeah.
It was a beat I had lying around. Sometimes I just make like beats and try and send them to people to see if they want to use them for to write something over the top. And I had that, and I never really intended to write anything over it myself because it was quite a hard beat. It's quite loud, it's quite abrasive, it's swaggery, and I'm not that person. Look at me. I'm like a skinny British guy. So I sent it round, and no one really wanted it. So I ended up singing over it myself. Yeah. And I had to kind of embrace an alter ego to fit on top of it. And then I needed someone who would take it to another level, who would add this energy and real swagger. And Denzel was the person for that. Like energy, swagger, intelligence. He's got it all. And I was so lucky when he said he'd do it. Yeah, he put his line on.
Dave, when I listen to Heat Waves, and I have heard it so many times, thousands and thousands of times.
Sorry.
I love it. It has a lot of processing in your voice. Was there a time when you thought, let's release it without the processing and leave your voice clean, or did you purposely keep it that way?
I purposefully kept it that way. I think there was an honesty in the song that sometimes it's easier to put extra processing on because it doesn't feel as close to you. It's almost such a personal song to me that it would be too personal if I just sang it in my own pure voice. It would almost be painful. I actually tried to sell the song to someone else because I didn't want it. I actually tried to give it to... I played it for Rihanna's manager, and he was really interested in it, but they didn't take it in the end. And so it was a kind of comfort blanket, the processing, but also it's quite a poppy melody, and sometimes the processing can help it feel a little less pop and a little more, interesting.
The Lolla lineup here in India, who do you want to stay back and watch, or go earlier and watch?
I want to go watch Hanuman Kind.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah? He's cool?
He's very cool. What about Green Day? Didn't you grow up with Billy Joe and the boys when you were in the US?
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah.
I mean, annoyingly, we're going actually.
Oh!
Yeah, I should have tried to stay for an extra day or two.
Yeah.
But I have to get back. I've got a little dog at home.
Yeah, you said so. You said so after me.
But
have you ever caught Green Day in concert before? No?
No, never. I'd love to. I've been listening to them a lot recently as well, lately. And
what about that Canadian boy called Shawn Mendes?
I'd go see Shawn Mendes for sure. I think he's got an incredible voice and some absolutely amazingly written songs. I think that'd be really great. Aurora would be top of my list as well. Yeah.
She's wonderful. Coming to India, have you been on holiday here before, or is it your absolute debut?
I came a long time ago, nearly 20 years ago.
And what, as a student, just backpacking?
I came to see a friend. Yeah, I had a friend. My friend lived in Delhi.
Agnes lived in Delhi at that time.
No, it was a different friend. Different friend. But I went to Delhi to hang out with my friend and his family, and I stayed for about maybe less than that, maybe a week. I stayed for a week and explored the city, and we just walked around, ate food. It was like July, so it was rainy, hot rain. Yeah, but I loved it. I loved it so much. It's very different to what I've seen this time. Like
Mumbai is very different. Yeah.
So Mumbai is very different.
Very different.
Cool. Yeah, I've never been
Even
to Mumbai.
people are.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
I'm excited because we've only been here for 12 hours.
12 hours.
Not even 12, maybe 12 hours we've been here. And I fell asleep, and I came to speak to you. So I'm going to go see what it's like and compare.
Yeah. And because it's the entertainment capital, you'll find a lot of like-minded people around. Everybody is either an actor or a musician or into content. It's just great fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to come to the new album, Show Pony, Two Aliens Land on Earth. Very old school video, but I love the song. It's such a beautiful love song. Did you purposely keep it a stripped down kind of old school video? You didn't want too many special effects in it, yeah?
Yeah, I wanted it to that a lot of the album references are films. Like the whole album is about like an existential crisis and how love is actually the most important thing, even though the world is so big. Love, the thing that's like closest to us, is the most important, and it's quite a simple message. So I wanted the video to stay simple, and a lot of the sounds and it's quite retro.
Yeah.
It's like retro futuristic.
I've noticed, yeah.
Yeah, so if we did special effects.
Like the keyboards are like the Doors used to play, John Densmore.
Yes, exactly.
These guys used to play.
They're literally exactly
and Robbie
the
Krieger
ones.
and all these guys, yeah.
That's
it's
the
lovely.
perfect reference.
And have you always been fascinated by space? Is there a movie about space that you've tripped on? Because that's also an underlying theme, isn't it, for the Effin' album, yeah?
Big time. Yeah. I've always wanted to do a space album, but I've never really worked out how to do it, because space is it's big, and it's cold, and it's hard to write something that feels human in that context. But I think I finally worked out a way to do it on this album. It took me a lot of time. I had to learn a lot of like new techniques, and I think I ultimately had to get more comfortable with writing very personal songs and framing them with the sound of that space and that kind of size, and having something very personal at the core is the only way to make it balanced.
After listening to I Love You So Effin' Much, I have a new favorite Glass Animal song.
Which one?
I love Creatures in Heaven. I cannot get over.
Thank you so much.
I listened to Creatures in Heaven thrice on my way here. It was just lovely. What were you? I mean, it's a beautiful song. I mean, talk to me about the theme of the song. How long did you think to write it?
You know what? I think it was actually the first song I wrote for the album when I got stuck in that house that you were asking about earlier. And I had the chords first. I remember just sitting down and playing those chords. And it's one of those where it all just happens very fast. The chords kind of made me remember a certain moment in time, and it's a very specific moment. So I wanted the song to be about how a little moment can change the rest of your life. It's a tiny split second. Everything can change. It just changes the way you see the world, the way you act, the way you talk, and the way you interact with people, everything. And I wanted to summarize that in a piece of music.
Is there one of your favorites too in the album? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite emotional, so I don't. I find it quite tough to listen to. Same with Agnes, actually.
Yeah.
And Heat Waves, but I can't.
White Roses, would that be one of your favorites? Another very beautiful, lovely writing in White Roses.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, again, very personal.
On Apple Music, I keep pulling up the lyrics and I'm going through it. It's poetry. It's just wonderful.
Oh, thanks so much. I actually think those two. Sometimes I like to think of album songs as like pairs that kind of work together. Like songs can be friends on an album,
So nice.
Yeah, and White Roses and Creatures in Heaven, they're friends.
And the tear in space airlock is where space comes in.
Yeah, that was real space. That's like the full vacuum when you get sucked into space.
My last question is about the two eyes in the album cover.
Oh, yeah.
They're very strange because one has a lot more character and the other is just still and staring.
Yeah.
It's quite eerie at times. Yeah.
It's meant to be quite unsettling.
It does.
But it's one photo.
It is.
Yeah. It was just
wow.
lit in a very... There's photographer Lydia Roberts who's amazing.
Whose eyes are they?
Mine. Yeah.
Both? Both of yours?
Just one photograph.
Wow.
Just lit it in a specific way that I think like there's a lot in the album about... It's the most personal thing about people. And it's floating in space. Like the eyes say so much. And I think she tried to capture two very different emotions, and the most personal most personal part of the human body maybe, and kind of throw it into space. That was the idea.
Are you excited taking the stage tomorrow? I mean, all the Indian fans must be on your timeline saying, "Oh,
I'm
Dave!"
a little nervous though, because it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And I want to do a good job. I want to smash it, and then I think we just have to come back.
Lovely. Yeah. You just have to come back and do a full India tour. That'll be
I hope
lovely.
so. That would be amazing. It'd be absolutely amazing.
Yeah. There are a lot of UK guys who are just doing that. Coldplay did 4 shows. Ed Sheeran did an India tour.
They're quite
all
famous.
This, so are you, Dave. Dave and the Glass Animals, please go give the new album a lot of love. It's not new anymore, it's a 2024 album, but and if you're around in Mumbai City, Lollapalooza India is where it's at. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to meet you.
94.3 Radio 1.